Hey everyone. Last time on Psychonauts, we learned that Coach Oleander was the one behind all the strange events going on at camp, including turning this otherwise harmless lungfish into a child kidnapping monster. So let's see if we can go inside its brain and fix that.
Top of the morning to you, ma'am.
And good day to you, Officer Lungfish. How are you today?
Oh, damp and happy, can't complain. And what are you and the wee one up to on this lovely day?
Oh, just obeying the law as always. All posted directives followed to the letter.
Ah, good to hear. Not a one of us want any trouble, that's for sure. Ah! Oh, Gagalo!
So yes, the inside of the lungfish's mind, otherwise known as Lungfishopolis, is a parody of Japanese monster movies like Godzilla, known as kaiju in Japanese, as I'm sure somebody's gonna point out, might as well be me. So we're huge, and that means a couple things. We can't use levitation. I'll replace it with something when I get something worth replacing it with, but for right now, I'm not going to worry about it. We can climb the big buildings and smash the little ones, and there are a ton of figments. It's a wide area, so let's go check out that building with the exclamation marks.
Hey, Goggalor! Down here!
Excuse me, were you talking to me?
Ah! Ow! My ears!
I'm sorry.
Ah! Oh my god! Ah!
Are you okay?
He's dead.
Oh geez, I'm sorry.
Don't worry. Every member of the Resistance is prepared to die, fighting the tyranny of Kochamara.
What's Kochamara?
He's a giant monster like you, Goggalor. He brainwashed and enslaved almost everyone in Lungfishopolis.
That stinks. So hey, have you seen any other humans around here? I'm looking for a girl called Lily.
The government archives might have some information about your young girlfriend, Goggalor.
Well, I don't know if she's really my girlfriend. I mean, I think she...
I only meant that she is your friend who was a girl, Goggalor. To access the archives, we must first destroy the broadcast tower Kochamara uses to control the populace.
Check. I'll go smash that then.
Wait, Goggalor! In order to reach the tower, you'll need to pass through that wall of lasers. But you'll never make it through the lasers without our help.
So are you gonna start helping soon?
First, I need you to do something for the Resistance. Punch a hole in that prison and free my comrades!
Freedom!
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 Hoo-yah! Now, how about getting me past those gates?
Right. We stole the shield power module from Coach Amara. It's too big for any of us to operate, but it should work for you.
Yep, it's a merit badge.
Hey, is this gonna upset Kochamara and all your little brainwashed neighbors?
No!
I doubt it.
No.
So, knocking down the prison and then breaking this laser shield thing, nobody's gonna get mad about that and start shooting at me.
No!
Maybe one guy would.
But what is even an entire navy of lungfish against the might and revolutionary zeal of Goggalor?
Wait, what navy?
Meet us at the dam, Goggalor, for freedom!
So at this point in the game, since we're out of camp and the counselors are no more, we start getting powers just randomly in the mines that we encounter. And the shield is pretty handy. It blocks all damage, no matter what. But it only lasts for a short time. Then we have to wait for it to recharge. Otherwise, we just get to have fun smashing everything in this town.
The peaceful city of Lungfishopolis is under attack tonight by a hideous, gigantic monster the terrified citizens have named Gagalor. The Navy has responded quickly and decisively, dispatching its entire tank division to neutralize the creature. Soon, authorities say, everything will return to normal or better. Kidnapping human children is good.
This guy needs a duffel bag tag.
So if you think about this level in real-world analog terms, we know that Coach Oleander put some kind of mind control chip inside the Lungfish, at the same time, presumably, as he mutated it and turned it into this giant monster. You can throw these tanks at each other. They're not really all that useful. I think punching is a lot more effective. Shooting occasionally works. Anyway, to the Lungfish, humans are, well, giant monsters. So, that's the scale of this world, in terms of us being so much bigger than these tiny little Lungfish running around. And again, you don't really need to feel guilty about smashing them, because they're just concepts inside the Lungfish's mind, thoughts that it's having. I don't think each one actually represents anything other than bits of an aggregate that adds up to the entire mind. Now, the Coach's brain implant, which takes the form of a monster called Coach Oleander, is also spreading all these subliminal messages like you might have noticed at the end of that news report. It was read in the Coach's voice, and at the end it told the Lungfish to go kidnap human children. And here's the laser tunnel. One use of the shield will destroy the whole thing. And now I'm completely surrounded by tanks. I think pyrokinesis would actually be pretty effective here, because there are a lot of them, and even the chain blast only helps so much, because it takes 2 shots to destroy each tank. Pyrokinesis is good, but it does keep you in place for a second or two. And you'll notice there's a lot of baggage in this level that I don't have the tags for yet. There's some backtracking you'll have to do if you want to get everything. But for now, let's go ahead and grab the tag that's over here, and then take care of smashing this prison. The Resistance Lungfish told us to meet them at the dam, but it's kind of out of the way.
Freedom!
Freedom!
Freedom! Freedom!
So, this big monster, is that the best you could do?
We were short on time, and he is good at smashing things.
Doesn't look like much to me. Come on, let's blow this joint.
Hey, you're welcome.
Sorry about him, Gagalor. He's been in prison a long time. He's the only pilot the Resistance has, and he has an excellent plan. Meet us at the dam so we can put it into action.
Yeah, if you go all the way to the dam, they just say, well, you needed to stop at the prison behind the laser tunnel first, and you can't get anywhere. This saves at least a little bit of backtracking. So, let's move on. Another thing to consider is that the ratio, I think, of resistance lungfish to actual lungfish kind of represents how much the Coach's mental implant has control over the lungfish's mind.
Well, things have gotten a little embarrassing for Gagalor. Recently surfaced information has strongly linked the previously intimidating monster with common low-life criminals. Earlier tonight, Goggalor broke some of his jailhouse cronies out of the slammer so they could enjoy a night on the town, popping pills and soliciting inexpensive call girls. Well, they're in for one nasty hangover. Our beloved Navy has come up with a high-tech new invention. Trucks armed with hyper-electricity. Kidnapping children do not harm the brains.
Yeah, the hyper-electricity trucks aren't too difficult to deal with. All you gotta do is use a shield at just the right time, and you'll reflect the electricity right back at the trucks and destroy them. If you're too far away, then you're not gonna hit them. This tends to be a pretty annoying level in terms of the enemies that attack you. So let's go deal with it. Anyway, like I was saying before, the resistance lungfish are obviously the parts of the lungfish's mind that are fighting against the implant. There aren't very many of them, most of them are in prisons, meaning that the implant is winning. And now the implant is going on a big campaign to discredit the resistance and Raz, who's working with them, as Goggalor, in order to try to increase the hold of the implant over the rest of its mind. Presumably, if all of the resistance were to be destroyed, then the lungfish would be completely taken over and unable to fight. Just to speed things up a little bit while I retrace old ground to go and take care of those 2 bags we've already passed. From now on, at least, we will be able to get the tags before we encounter the bags. I'm gonna try pyrokinesis at least once just to see how effective it is against the tanks. Soon as I find one, I've already covered most of this part of the city, and while the tanks do eventually respawn, it usually takes a little while. So pyrokinesis is incredibly effective, and so I will never use it again. No idea why, I just keep forgetting that I've got it in favor of just punching and shooting. The thing that I find weirdest about Lungfishopolis, I think, is how anthropomorphic everything is. You know, it's a city that represents the inside of a lungfish's mind, and yet it's got buildings, cities, tanks, all sorts of imagery that would obviously be associated with humanity. At what point does the lungfish actually encounter any of this stuff?
Destruction and terror continue as the hulking, godless child beast carves a bloody swath through our helpless city. Our noble, all-volunteer Navy has been surprised only by the senseless lust for mayhem that seeps from the twisted black lump of a heart in this creature, still known only as Goggalor. Though it loathes violence in all its forms, the Navy has no choice but to activate its anti-monster turrets, which it guarantees are 100% monster-proof. Do not get caught stealing children.
Alright, well they say turrets, but there's only one, fortunately. And also, fortunately, it's easy to deal with. If it does hit you, it takes a lot of health, but all you gotta do is shield every time it targets you.
Now you see the genius of our plan, Goggalor.
First we print flyers, then we spread them all over town with my blimp.
Winning over the hearts and minds of Lungfishopolis in as soon as 6 months.
6 months?
You don't like our plan, you can come up with another one.
Yes, we are busy. We have to select card stock and then find a decent but inexpensive printer within the week.
Yeah, we need to use the blimp to get over the dam, but since they're not going to give us a ride, we're going to have to make our own. After picking up more of these figments shaped like buildings, you got buildings, trees, billboards. You know, I kind of wonder whether maybe the imagery here has to do with the fact that Raz is human.
Better plan than the pamphlets yet?
Yes, it's called Turn in Goggalor for reward money.
Well, we can bounce on the top of the blimp. And there we go. We can get up to the top of the dam that way.
Blimp, you know.
I want to hear the rest of the stuff they say when you bounce on it. I didn't realize that there was more than one thing. Bye, tank.
Knock it off! Oh!
Careful, my chai tea!
Quit it! Hey! What are you doing up there? Quit it!
Alright, I think that's it.
Hey! What are you doing up there?
So, moving on. Yeah, I wonder whether the lungfish's mind always looked like this, like a human city with tiny lungfish living in it. Or whether this is the influence of either Coach Oleander's interference, or perhaps just a mental image that Raz has created. You know, something that'll be a bit more familiar with. There are a lot of questions you can raise, and not all the answers are necessarily in the game. And we've got a... Oh! Didn't realize I was so close to my upgrade, and the shield already gets more powerful. Granted, the only thing it'll do is knock back enemies that attack me with melee, which is pretty much just the sensors, I think.
Got it.
But it's handy, and rather than walk all the way back at Raz's slow pace, even the hand pulls him down more slowly. But that does bring us right back to the city. And I'm surprised I can even shoot at that gun, but shooting the gun on one of the Navy ships just sinks the entire ship. So you gotta be careful how you do it. Doing it from the shore is the safest way. And I think you guys have got the idea here. We're gonna be running around this section of the city grabbing figments for a long time. So I'll do it a bit faster and try to make it a little less painful. It's a neat concept for a level, but the execution doesn't really lend itself well to, well, being thrilling to watch or interesting to play, frankly. I mean, granted, not every level is going to be the best one, but just the slow pace of this level combined with how many figments there are and, you know, the traditional problem that it's just one huge area. So if you miss any figments, you don't have the help of limiting the search area a little bit. I don't think I'm going to be able to hit that one from a distance. So the easiest way to deal with the ships is jump over to them, destroy the cannon by hand, and jump while you've still got time. And we get an upgrade up here. Somewhere. My depth perception is off. But there are tons of figments, and some of them are really small and hard to spot. Of course, they fade in and out, so sometimes you'll be looking straight at one and you won't see it. The enemies respawn constantly, so it's not even possible to clear them all out of the level and then move around freely. At least not yet. Obviously, once I've completed the level and defeated Coach Oleander, I think the Navy disappears. I honestly don't remember. They might still stick around. And there was hyper-electricity somewhere, I just couldn't see it. I think a lot of times the fist is just the easiest thing to use to target the tanks, even though it puts you right in harm's way. So what is it about skyscrapers? Not a clue. But it obviously represents normal life for a lungfish. You know, that whole thing about just living peacefully before it was taken and mutated. That's gotta be what this is all about. And I think we pretty much cleared out this section of the city. There are actually two ways to get over to Skyscraper Island. And we need to cover both of them in order to get all the figments and baggage and stuff. So we'll destroy every train. I don't think any more of them will be coming.
We're here with the star of the popular sitcom Trouble in the Bubble, Buddy Finn. Buddy, what's your take on the Goggalore situation? Is he just misunderstood? No way! I hate Goggalore. I can't imagine any one of my fans siding with the monster. He hates everything Lungfish care about. Air, water, family, the economy. Buddy, you'll be happy to know that the Navy has decided to pull out what they're most famous for. Airplanes! So rest assured, we can all look forward to Goggalore's imminent death. And to seeing you, buddy, every Thursday night at 8, right here on LBC. Thanks, and I'd just like to add that if anyone kidnaps a human child, they should take them quickly under the lake to the abandoned insane asylum.
Goggalore, come in. We have commandeered these vessels in your name.
We can put them in position to help you cross Kochamara Channel to get to Kochamara Island and destroy Kochamara Tower.
The thing is that, although we have the utmost faith that you will soon contain the area, Goggalore, we,
I don't know why that line's not voiced.
we've decided to maintain our position out here.
Just until you clear the area of all hostiles.
Yes.
For insurance reasons, Goggalore.
Yes, that, and for freedom.
Yeah, so the Kochamara module is already doing appeals to celebrities. You know, the old celebrity endorsement where somebody decides they don't like something, and so everybody who's a fan of theirs has to hate it too. It's annoying and evil, and I don't like it, but perfectly represents what's going on here. And seeing that crying suitcase reminds me that I missed a vault somewhere earlier in the level. Can't exactly remember where, but I think I've got an idea, so I'm gonna run back and go grab that before I get any farther here. And of course go across the suspension bridge, which puts us right back on the island I was on before. That's the other path you can take to get to Skyscraper Island. A lot less stuff to collect here, I think. And interestingly, a turret that's way out on another ship out here. And this ship will never sink because it doesn't have a turret on it. Anyway. I could have cut this out, but it goes pretty quickly, and gives you a better sense of how much stuff has reappeared in the level. Well, there you go. It was actually Kochamara that converted Lungfishopolis from a peaceful underwater world into this modern human utopia. And then I accidentally grabbed the ropes of the suspension bridge, which is one of those things that just happens sometimes, and I hate it. And ended up jumping off to the far side. So, back across the bridge. Actually, wait a second. No, that's where I started. That's the way I want to go. And see, I'm just walking along the tight ropes and suddenly I fall through. So very carefully not jumping off into the water. Still gotta finish getting all the stuff on this island. With tons and tons of tanks. The enemy density here is just incredible. And there was a suitcase up here. I guess the steamer trunk, to be more correct. Pink one's the suitcase. And I accidentally hit the vault while I was punching the tanks. So what I think is really neat is that first vault showed us the Lungfish's captivity and mutation from the inside, as it looks from within the mental world, while the second one shows what it looked like from the outside in the real world.
Here comes Cochamera! No, wait, it's Goggalor. Run!
Alright, there's a pole I can jump on, but I don't see anything to grab by swinging, so I'll just skip it. And we'll move back to Skyscraper Island, where the challenge is to get to the top of the really tall skyscrapers, with the planes dropping bombs on you, and then destroy all of the planes. Which is easier than it sounds, because the planes will just ram into you, and while they do hurt you and send you flying from the tops of the buildings, that does destroy the plane as well, so pulled myself up right into one. And now there's only 7 of them left. So as long as you keep making your way up to the top of the skyscrapers, you will eventually destroy them all just by attrition. And I spotted one more figment while I was climbing up there. Climbing the buildings is really annoying, because there are little outcroppings, and most of the time you can get past. Sometimes you just can't. So alright, I think that's everything before Skyscraper Island. Back up to the top again. At least, I don't think climbing the buildings is too difficult and doesn't take too long. And you've got a choice of paths you can take. Those were some close calls. Once I actually get up to the top, the first thing you want to do is activate your shield, just in case any planes run into you. And if they don't, a couple of chain blasts will take them all out very quickly.
Freedom!
And that'll be the final stretch. So let's just go ahead and grab the figments that we've got here, because there's an invisibility upgrade coming up that, while not necessarily immediately helpful, is always good to have. And here's our last piece of baggage. And we're still going to need one more rank for that upgrade, so not going to help us this time around, I think. Extra projection depth always does help, and I can see a couple figments in various places. But now that we know what's going on with the Lungfish, let's take one more look at this old memory from the brain tumbler experiment. Remember it? The world shall taste my eggs? The one that didn't make any sense in context? I don't think it makes a lot more sense now, but the brain hatches out of the egg, which is how the brain tumbler experiment started, walks to the water, finds a fish, rides across the lake, and comes to an amusement park, where it gets to ride on the teacups and kill people. So obviously, that's at least somewhat analogous to the fish taking kids, with their brains included, under the lake, to the far side of it, and those brains being installed in the psychic death tanks that we saw in Coach Oleander's mind. Just some of that imagery is a little off, and I couldn't tell you. I mean, is the egg supposed to represent the start of a fish's journey, since fish are born out of eggs? Not that kind of egg, though. And Huh, there's the invisibility upgrade. We get double the invisibility, and that's it. And once you get on this rail, it's almost impossible to get off. I hate that rail, it's just really annoying. But I think that's almost everything. There's 2 figments further on. So how many have I missed? 4. So let's see if there are 2 figments visible from where I am. I better get higher so I can see what I'm doing. Like I said, I don't want to sweat it too much over 1 figment, but this level of all levels I really don't want to have to come back to. At least if I can avoid it, and especially I don't want to have to go all the way to the end. You see the figment kind of hiding in the corner of the building there. Almost managed to get to it without falling. And at least we're climbing up the right building this time. The other figment that I missed, I do know where it is. I saw it while I was editing, and it's way back at the very beginning of the level. So at least I won't have to go too far when I come back here to get it. Not going back for it right now, largely because when I was playing, I didn't know where it was. And you can see almost the whole city from up here. But if the figment were visible from there, which it isn't, I don't know if I'd be able to see it anyway. Good old PS2 draw distance. Can't even see the ships from here. There they are. So we'll just head over to Cochamara Island for the final boss fight. And this one is a fun one.
Well, we're sorry to report that the miserable and incompetent Lungfish Navy is all but sunk. Great work, losers. Now, Cochamara himself will have to come all the way down here just to save our worthless hides. Authorities are calling for a big parade in Cochamara's honor after he clobbers the annoying giant Goggalor. And if the parade is big enough, Cochamara promises not to destroy the city. Brush teeth more often, don't drill so much.
Of course, we know that destroying the city wouldn't be such an awful thing from the Lungfish's perspective, but
Hey everyone! Here comes Cochamara!
Give up while you can, Goggalor.
I know it's you in there, Coach. I don't know where you're broadcasting from, but I'm gonna find out and make you show me what happened to Lily.
Cochamara does not speak giant monster boy language.
The only word you're gonna need is ouch.
Mighty Ram!
so as I understand it, this is an Ultraman parody, particularly with the shouting out of names of moves. Cochamara always announces what he's gonna do.
Triangle beam!
And he's got that shield that only drops when he uses the deadly triangle beam.
Triangle beam!
So reflecting it is the best way to hurt him. I think you can shoot him, but I don't bother.
Ram!
And if you use your shield too early, he'll wait until it runs out to attack. Now watch his fingers here. When he's using the deadly triangle beam, he does something kind of funny with them.
Triangle beam! So Sasha showed you how to save up your aggressive energy, huh? Well, why don't I help you? Let it all out!
Not that the Psy Blast is all that useful during this fight, but you won't get much chance to use it here. I think the buildings can drop extra ammo, but they never do.
Combination! Hard to avoid! Avoid!
I'm gonna use my shield too early again.
Mighty round ground vision!
I'm gonna try picking him up just to see.
Avoid area attack!
But the hard to avoid area attack is the one that causes him to drop his shield.
Can't get a good grip.
Mighty ram!
You can dodge out of the way instead of using your shield,
Ram!
but the shield is easier as long as you time it right.
Triangle beam!
And he'll just alternate between flying at you and attacking you from the ground until he's finished.
Triangle beam! Mighty ram!
Obviously you do a lot more damage to him while he's on the ground, so I think he spends most of the time in the air.
Mighty
Which I think is the easier position to fight him from.
vision! Mighty ram! Ground vision!
Can't get a good grip.
Hard to avoid area attack!
Even though I mistimed that, I still almost had time to hit him.
Combination! Hard to avoid area attack!
And that should be it.
People of Lungfishopolis, I'm sorry I let you down.
Finally. Okay, Tower. Get ready for Goggalore.
He is still lying there.
Well, he was evil. But he did build a lot of roads.
I can't do anything interesting to him. Anyway, I think it's kind of neat the way that Coach Oleander convinced all the lungfish in the city to think of him as a hero. And, you know, all the mental propaganda against Goggalore and, by extension, the resistance lungfish. It's kind of a nifty picture, if you think about it, of how mind control actually works. Even though, generally, mind control is not due to technological factors, but, you know, external controls, bullying, that sort of thing. It's kind of an uncomfortable topic, so let's leave it aside for now and get to the top of the tower. Fortunately, we don't have to climb all the way up. Quite.
Fine. Take control of this freaky toad. I don't need him to nab children for me anymore. I've got the brain of a little girl back in my lab that's strong enough to power a whole army of psycho-blaster death tanks. Huh? What?
You've got the brain of a little girl.
I said in my lab.
I think you've got the muscles of a little girl, too.
Good one.
Human child.
Who is that?
It is I, the creature whose spirit was once, over here. Behind you? Yes.
Oh.
The creature whose spirit was once enslaved by the evil one. You have unchained my soul, and now I shall repay you, powerful human child.
Oh. Great. Well, okay. Show me what you did to my friend Lily.
By the drowned spirit of Oblongata, it is done. it is your wish to travel across the lake, you may return to either shore and summon me with that.
Thanks, hulking lungfish. You know, you really aren't as hideous as people say.
You may call me now by my true name, Rasputin. The name given to me by my people.
And what name is that, noble lake creature?
Linda.
What a magical lady.
Yep, so Linda the Lungfish is now our ride across the lake whenever we want to go. And we're at the Insane Asylum Island, and it looks to me like we're on the right track if you see what I see. It's the bracelet Lily made for us.
I don't think I want to put this bracelet on just yet. I think Lily and I need to talk about our relationship first.
Well, we'll have to rescue her in order to do that. But this has been a pretty long episode, and I don't want to climb up there and get involved in trying to get into the asylum just yet. So come back next time where we'll head back to camp and see what's changed in the meantime and find out exactly what stands between us and Lily. See you then.